Hello. Today I'm very excited to bring to you a property tour of our existing EB Acres as part of the BE bunch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to various places with different habitat ideas and ask you for your input. I'll have some drone footage of all these different places and I go on a property tour walk. Kind of ominous, cloudy, foggy, but you'll get the idea between the different clips that I put out there, and I really would love your input on this. I'm not a habitat guru. This isn't what I do for a living. I do follow and watch all the major players in this market and try to kind of connect all their different pieces together, and would love to hear what you have to think, say, questions, comments, ideas, and with the eventual goal of turning the ag fields into more habitats. So this is part one, and I think we're going to be at least 4, if not 5, just because I want to keep them around that 20-minute mark. So I hope you enjoy today's video, and as always, it's a great day to be outdoors. Today my goal is to take you on a property tour from the ground, add some drone footage to it, and we're going counterclockwise around the whole property. It's the December 23rd, and one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to work off the gluttony I'm about to experience before it actually starts. So we're at the tractor road is what we call this, and I don't know about you, but we name things and they kind of stick. Like growing up, I hunted down in Blair, Wisconsin, and one of our places is the Electric Gate. Hasn't been a gate there since the mid-80s. Another place is called the Rake. Well, there is a rake there, so that one actually makes sense. So call it a tractor road because probably at one point it was used by a tractor. That's pretty clever, isn't it? Now, this tractor road is about 20 yards, 40 yards into the property in a valley. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is trying to make an access trail right on the border. It would go straight uphill right away. You can't really tell because of the fog today. I'm sorry, I can't pick better days to film. I only have so many and I want to get this out to you. But anyway, I want your comments on this. Like we got this valley. We got deer that bed on this. This is a southern exposure. And then you'll see eventually, or maybe with some drone footage, this is another hillside. I planted it full of white pines as part of a CSP program. But we do come up this tractor trail to access our northeast field. So this is the start of our journey. I'll take you different places today, and I hope you enjoy it. Just want to do a quick shot of this building here. I don't know, I call it the old house. I wish I knew what this actually was used for. It's been the source of many wood projects, and probably will be a nice shelf slash cupboard for my wife. I already made her cupboard for the entry out of this, but then this would be the hillside that you'd walk straight up if we decided to put access along the edge and then just enter our way along from west to east, depending on which direction the wind was blowing. This is looking west back towards the buildings. That's the silver shed. Then I'm panning right now eastward. What you can see are the markings of all my welded wire or woven wire cages for the white pines. This has been kind of a disaster because it was such a dry year, but I did dig a ton of them out from over at my dad's land to kind of make up for them. So this will eventually be cover right here. Major deer artery right in the frame right now. And then I'm walking us up the tractor trail or tractor road towards what we call the cattle walk. So the cattle walk, I mow a trail into it. I do have a stand in the middle of the cattle walk up on the top. I want to have access to it. I pick a straight west wind. I suppose if there was ever straight east wind, I would pick that too. And so I hunt it very rarely, but you have to have access to it. And then this trail is hopefully to also steer deer movement. So 2 purposes. So looking at the cattle walk right now, hillside of white pines. At the top we have our CSP oak planting, which hopefully you can see in the drone footage attached to this. And then we have the tractor road, which takes you to the northeast field. And again, we have a section of woods up here, kind of a ridge, and deer do like to bed in this. Haven't found a shed here yet, but we will someday. Here's a quick shot of the hillside that is to the north of the tractor road. It does open up a little bit towards the top. And then ominously, you can probably make out our muddy double stand up here that we've had since the year we purchased the property so the kids and I could hunt together. So just want to do a quick shot of this to give you some idea. It does thicken up back towards the west, but I think a stand or a trail along the line would be okay. And I also think it could be an opportunity for a stand, but you don't want to get too obnoxious with stands along your border, even though I do have some. Right, I'm taking you on a quick flyover of where we've just been. So in the frame right now, we have the woods that's to the north of the tractor road. It is a mix of popples and hardwoods. It was not logged the time we had the property logged. Just in frame now on the southern edge is the tractor road. We're flying up hill and towards the north field, which guys, I would love your input on what we could do with this someday, you know, with my goal for this channel to help me finance some changes. This is a blank slate. Right now we're coming to the corner, and I do have a double stand right here with on a mock scrape. It's a really neat spot. And then now we're just going to pan back the way we came from. You can see the oak planting, the top of a clear cut back towards the building, so we're looking west, panning into the neighbor property and the valley and all the different land around. And actually right over here, this is the direction I'm going to take you eventually on our tour. And there we are. Here's a picture of the top of the cattle walk. That basswood is where I have my bow stand. It is definitely just a bow stand the way it's brushed out. Funny thing is, a few years ago we took a Christmas card here. This is an old spreader. I kind of wanted to say spreading Christmas cheer. We got vetoed, and I actually used a picture from this old hay loader. It's a great picture. And then a building at the land that's, or down at the bottom, it's not even there anymore. But this is the bottom of the cattle walk, or midway through. I did mow that trail. Hopefully you can make it out. It goes up to the stand and not get all tore up if you walk in and out of there. Since I'm talking about this, if you are a dad and you have hunters, or maybe mom and have hunters, sorry, and you got to take them to the stands during the day. So I wanted Cooper to go here one time, and he didn't know where it was, and so he ended up all over heck. So always do a trial run on his day, or have them sit in a stand for an evening sit the first time, just to help them find the stands. It might seem intuitive, but I went to the stand opening gun season, and I had a hard time finding that trail. So even me knowing I mowed it and where it was, I still didn't know where it was. Hillside behind us, going back towards the west, and the hex is just over the hill. A couple giant big old oaks, and then back towards the west with the tractor road. We're at the top right now of the tractor road, looking towards the top of the cattle walk. I do have a hang-on stand in a giant, I think it's actually a hickory tree, and I have a water hole in this top here, and I don't know if it's a good spot or not. You know, I think I'm explaining this along the way in different clips, but I want your opinion. I want your thoughts. I want your questions about what to do with this stuff. And you know, I follow the teachings of all the guys that you probably watch too, and maybe this one's not in a good spot. You know, it is hard to get to, you know, so it's a pick your punches and only go there once, which I know you're not really supposed to do to blow out a spot. But there's a water hole, a mock scrape, and then it is a River's Edge Rogue XL actually in that tree, and it's a dang good stand. I actually have a video about how to assemble them and comparing them to a different version of stands. But so this is the northeast field. It was soybeans this year, very, very foggy, ominous, kind of cool looking day. I'm gonna take you to the north line in just a second, but top of the cattle walk, looking in, and then I'm standing at the top of the tractor trail too. So there's the cattle walk, as we call it. This is a little section of woods that's on my line with the neighbor above the tractor trail. There's our muddy double stand. And then here is the field edge corner. Now, corners are awesome for deer. And here I have a mock scrape out of a vine from down in Blair at the family farm. Up in this tree, I have a cuddy link, and I have one of those day and night, or the bigger solar panels on the back of the tree. I have videos on how to camouflage your cameras, and this one with that day and night has worked flawlessly. And you know, I just camoed this with spray paint, and it sticks, or it doesn't stick out at all. And then putting the panel on the back towards the opening also works. Then I'm gonna pan slow. I've tried really hard to plant this line in pines just to give me more cover. Hoping for the future that they grow. Growing transplanted pines in the woods is kind of hard. And then this is the field edge looking towards the east, and this is a really fun spot, early rut, because deer love to work these field edges. In fact, I've been out here on one end and had my boy on the other, and had some cool stories, some cool sits already. So field edge right now. Plan for the future, if finances allow it, would be to kind of chip away and put a couple rows of pines in here, just to plan for more access. This field edge does vary. Some places I have about 10 yards, some places not so much, and it's pretty thick, but I have tried to sneak out right on the very edge. It's hard because the neighbor has a road right on their side, which is totally fine. And again, there's a video of his property, or me standing on the edge of my property for his, showing the difference between logging and not logging. But I need to think about access for now and for the future. And switchgrass obviously, or miscanthus even, might be an option, but I do like white pines, and so I've tried, and I do have some that are working their way out. So one last shot looking east, pan to the foggy field, pan down to the licking branch, which love licking branches, 22 yards away from the double stand and the double muddy.
Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a drone tour real quick. So we are panning from the tractor road over to the corner with the mock scrape. Now we're panning to the east along the field edge, and I know I need to find a way to access the property on this north line. Next, I'm taking you up, so the double stands in the middle of the frame, and we are going to be looking west. And coming up in just a second is a giant white pine that's pretty much on the property line to give you a frame of reference. This is where I'd like to maybe add access, so I can access the property right along the border, but it is obviously woods that does house deer, and it is a bedding area. You can also see that last time this was logged, this was not touched, so it is kind of a neat little spot. The tractor road is on the left, and some of the CSP oak plantings. Different angle, we have the cattle walk kind of in the bottom, moving to the right of the frame. There's the big section of woods with that big white pine again. And what we're going to do now is we're going to travel along this north field and kind of along the north property line. This north field is an exciting canvas that I would love input and ideas on. Maybe a spoke food plot, bedding areas, increased edge, all kinds of different things if it was ever to become financially feasible, which it just isn't currently, but hopefully someday it will be. You can kind of see a funnel over there on the right side of the screen with the trees as well. So left side, I'm looking at ways to improve access. Currently there are some white pines planted there, but looking for other things, and then just doing something completely different with this field. As we pan straight east now, it's really exciting to share this with you, but the property in the background that you can pretty much see, all of it is a new property that we were blessed and fortunate enough to own now, and I hope to do something with that and share it with you. And we're running out of the footage here, and this is probably going to be the second part of the tour, but I just wanted to kind of show you this as well. So that's it for this flyover. Okay, so I'm trying this from a little different angle now, using Google Maps, and just wanted to show you where we were today. some different things that you saw and some different potential ideas. So I don't know how visible my cursor is going to be. It is a hand right now, but this is where we started our tour, was right here by the old building. And one of the first things I mentioned is the potential of making a different access trail along the property border. That's where the hand is right now. And I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think about that, because this is a south-facing slope in a bedding area. And then over here, this is going to be screening in some form because, and I'll mention this a couple times in this clip, we are now fortunate enough to own the property to the east of our original property. So I need to have access that goes this direction, as I will have access that comes from this direction too. But that is for another time and another day. So we basically walked up this trail, and I have different footage of this trail. This is the tractor road, and then this is what I called the cattle walk. And the cattle walk, I think it was a cattle walk, and it continues, through two different fields and then all along the property boundary. And one of the things I'll reference in the next property tour is that you look for where old stands were, to potentially put stands, and there was an old stand here. I don't have one there, so from this map, it does look a little stand heavy perhaps, but this is the double stand with the licking branch. This is a stand on the line. This would be in a different video, but I wanted to include it in the map with a water hole. There are people that tell you to not put water holes next to food, and this hasn't been that effective of a water hole, so they're probably right. This licking branch has been hit pretty heavy. This used to be a really fun spot to sit because we'd access from the property that was open to the public. That's probably going to change a little bit. This is the stand at the top of the cattle walk with the water hole and a licking branch. And then this is a stand at the top of the cattle walk in a giant clump of basswood trees. Now, this, which should be in a different clip altogether, looks nothing like this anymore. This has been clear cut, and the only thing that remains are lots and lots of popple shoots and some of the more mature hardwoods. But I am getting ahead of myself. This has all been planted in CSP programs, so this is all giant, or not giant, excuse me, this is all swamp oak, white oak, red oak, bur oak plantings. And so we kind of ended the foot version of the tour right here in this corner, and to plant this in white pine switchgrass or something would be absolute must, and it's just a matter of talking to the farmer about what to leave. Now what I have right here is just an idea, a food plot in the middle segmented by screening, surrounded by switchgrass, and then having just little habitat pockets around it. Lots of different ideas using the topography, finding ways to screen access in case I want to try to hunt this in the middle, even though, I know you're supposed to hunt your property as inside out. I mentioned this in a previous clip, but another idea, and I don't know who to give this credit to, would be this hub and spoke model. And I'll try to credit an individual that I've watched videos on in the past that has talked about different methods like this. And if I can think of it in time, if I can put it in time, I'll link it in this video. I'm just doing a screen recording right now. So I would love to hear your ideas with the dream of taking these fields out of ag. But right now in this clip, this potential field, what would you do for the food, if anything? What would you do for screening? A soft edge feathering, just different things along those lines. I'm a huge fan of regeneration, but obviously, or maybe not obviously, but we have a prickly ash problem. Not prickly, well, we have prickly ash too, but we also have buckthorn, and so this area was full of buckthorn, and I just recently took it out as part of the CSP program. So here's a different look of where we were. We went from here to here, and then we ended up with the drone footage here, and I flew across this field, and I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Thank you for watching today's video on the property tour. This was the first episode of 4, 5, maybe even more, depending on. I'm also going to hopefully bring you a property tour of a new piece that we are blessed to own, and that'll be like the blank slate where what are we going to do? I know that I need to make access around the outside, but other than that, that'll be an exciting thing to look forward to in the future. So thank you for watching today's video. Thank you for the support of this channel. If you like this video, please, share it with your friends and help my channel grow. So thank you very much.